Pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We could let the record show, Ms. Nardi, that Mr. Durkin is on calling in tonight he has some health issues he's dealing with.
Ms. Gaska?
Here.
Ms. Ruska?
Here.
Ms. Towner?
Here.
Ms. Van Horn?
Here.
And Ms. Saylor?
Here. Do we have any visitors here for comment this evening? Is anyone here to speak? Oh, please come on up. I have to read a quick introductory paragraph. Please take a seat. The Board of Education welcomes and encourages the participation of its citizens in the business of the school district. There are 2 points in the meeting where visitor statements are scheduled. Citizens are welcome to raise questions or make comments at either one. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per individual and cannot be combined. Please note the Board of Education will not answer questions or engage in dialogue during visitor comments. If a person would like additional time to address the board, such a request should be submitted in writing 48 hours before the meeting to the superintendent. So please.
My name is April Wozniak. My daughter is Savannah Wozniak. She's a senior here at RB and has benefited tremendously from the theater, music, arts program. Her passion is science, but her motivation is really music and theater. She has the distinct honor of representing the RB community at the upcoming Theater Fest as part of the all-state production. She's playing the tuba in the pit orchestra at the all-state production. And I wanted to make sure you all were aware that all-state, this particular production, it's not just one of a kind in the state of Illinois, it's one of a kind in the entire country. It's really an honor that Savannah gets to go. We have other students here who, again, benefit from Theater Fest and from the arts program in general, and would just encourage the board to continue to invest in the arts and in music and in theater.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We appreciate it. Did either of you want to speak this evening? No? Okay. Thank you. Oh. Just sit down, state your name.
Hi, my name is Brooke Craig. Like Mrs. Wozniak said, all of us students benefit tremendously from this program. When I was a sophomore, I did go to Theater Fest, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. Going and seeing the production was amazing. It was spectacular. And knowing that one of my friends is in it, I want to do everything I can to support her. It really is a tremendous experience, a tremendous honor, and it opens up so many opportunities. Even just going to Theater Fest, you learn so many things. You learn new techniques, you meet new people, new connections that can further you in jobs that you would like to do, in places you want to go in the future. And it really is like a key time to make these connections, a key time to learn new things. So not only is it a great experience, it's a great learning experience too. I just thought that you'd want to know that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that is on our agenda for later on today, so thank you. Discussion information items?
We had 3 FOIA requests all from the same person, and the responses are attached.
Any questions on those? Anyone?
This is not a news outlet that we report to, correct?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I'm not aware of any contract with them in any way,
No.
shape, or form for
Right.
advertising or anything. District goal setting IASB process, we are scheduled for the 11th. So we'll have some more information in the near future to be discussed publicly. That will be a Saturday session with the Illinois Association of School Boards, and it'll be a fairly lengthy process, doing an internal evaluation followed by review of our goals. It's a follow-up to the mission statement process we engaged in over the last couple of years. The next item is IASB resolutions. Laura, you and I didn't get a chance to talk about this beforehand, but my thought was just to open it up if anyone had any comments or any differences from the IASB recommendations, and then move on from there.
So I'd like to save the conversation for after the West Cook dinner meeting.
Okay.
Which is going to happen. So maybe at our meeting of the whole this month on the COW meeting, because there is a new resolution that IASB is supporting for teacher literacy. And I wanted to get some more information on that. And I was hoping at the West Cook meeting, they would clarify that for us.
Okay, that sounds good. I think the next committee of the whole will be a fairly packed agenda, so we'll have to still be somewhat concise on these. I would just encourage everyone to be prepared, read the packet beforehand, so we can go through them at that time.
Yeah, or we could do that at the first, because we don't vote on that until, the third to the conference. So we could still do that on our November 8th meeting.
Okay, so we
November 9th.
have time.
Yeah,
have
so
time.
we definitely have time.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Any additional discussion items anyone wants to add to the agenda? Looking, okay. Consent calendar.
Consent agenda. The Board of Education Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois takes the following action on the listed consent agenda items. Approves minutes from the meeting held on September 14th and 28th, 2021, open and closed, as presented in the October 12th, 2021 Board Agenda Packet. This is an all in favor.
Yes, could we get a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Old business.
No updates on life safety capital improvements.
Course fees.
No changes, nor were any questions submitted in regards to the course fee, so I believe they're ready for board approval.
The Board of Education Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois approves the course fees for the 2022-2023 school year as presented in the October 12th, 2021 Board Agenda Packet.
Can we have a second, please?
Second.
Second from Mr. Van Horst. Any discussion, questions on those?
I think just it's really interesting to see, and I think this might be something that people might be interested about, like what the course fees actually are, what they break down to be, how much of it's AP tests, how much of it, like for English classes, amounts to books. I just thought that was really interesting because I know for me this year with either 5 or 6 AP classes, like that's a pretty hefty sum you pay. So those course fees were really interesting to see the breakdown. I think that could be something the public would be interested in knowing.
So this does become part of the public record after the board approves it today.
And it will, all minutes and agendas are on the website, so
Yes.
anybody that wants to look
Can find it.
should.
Yeah. Ms. Nardi, can we get a roll call, please?
Mr. Durkin?
Mr. Durkin?
Yes.
Mr. Durkin said yes.
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Ms. Towner?
Yes.
Mr. Van Horst?
Yes.
And Ms. Salas?
Yes. Next item is policy 5:310.
Again, this is a second read. There was no questions submitted by the board. The Policy Advisory Council saw this as well. It just is a update to the policy to make things a little more consistent between union and our non-union staff.
Do we have any questions or
This was
comments?
the compensatory time.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, that this is an alignment of the policy.
Yeah, cleans up the language so that there's no ambiguity.
Yep.
Any questions, comments? Okay, then I think we can do a roll call.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, a motion. Let's start with the motion first.
Resolved
I was
that the
moving
board,
quick.
you're just not used to going this fast.
I know.
Resolved that the Board of Education Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois hereby approves the revision to policy 5:310, compensatory time off, as presented in the October 12th, 2021 Board Agenda Packet.
We have a second, please.
Second.
Second, Ms. Gasko.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Ms. Towner?
Yes?
Mr. Van Horst?
Yes.
Mr. Durkin?
Yes.
Yes, he said yes.
Ruska?
Yes.
And Ms. Salas?
Yes. Moving on to new business.
Payment of bills, we did not receive, again, any questions, and there was nothing, the transportation, I'm sorry, Kristen, you had some questions on the fall transportation.
Yes, there were 2 questions submitted. The first spans Board Book page 98 through 103. That's in regards to First Student, which is the bus company that we use for transportation for athletics. We do not start scheduling winter sports until the first week of November in regards to transportation. We do anticipate there still being the issue of the bus company not being able to get here before 4 p.m. And so it's a combination of trying to push back competitions when possible,
to start a little later, and then also being creative with some of our transportation schedules if we can.
Yeah, I noted that there were some creative expenditures there.
Yes. And the other question was in regards to Board Book page 107, which is Grand Prairie Transportation, which is the transportation we use for our special education students. If you go all the way, if you look on the right side of the page, you'll see a date there of August 31st. So that tells you that it's for the month of August. So we do anticipate August is usually about half of what a normal month is because of when we start school. So you can anticipate a normal month being a little over $50,000 for this school year. And that fluctuates depending on students and whether or not they attend school that day and various things, but that would be a rough average.
Is there reimbursement for some of that?
There is.
But that
We
comes
always
in
get
the next fiscal year, correct?
correct.
So you pay, in the current fiscal year, the district pays the money, and then there's reimbursement in the next budget cycle.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's not a full reimbursement, that's a
That's a partial
It's a
reimbursement.
partial reimbursement, okay. Thank you. Were there any other questions on the bills and claims? I guess payment of bills is what we call them here. Could we have a motion?
Oh, I'm
If you'd be so
sorry.
kind.
Yes. The Board of Education Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois approves the payment of bills as presented in the October 12, 2021 Board Agenda Packet.
Can we have a second, please?
Second.
Second, Ms. Hureska?
Ms. Towner?
Yes.
Mr. Van Horst?
Yes.
Mr. Durkin?
yes,
Ms. Gasko?
Yes.
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
And Ms. Salas?
Yes. And the overnight trip request for Theater Fest.
Hi, you heard some information tonight, both from the parent and the student. This is something we talked about a little bit at our last meeting. It is in Illinois, it's sponsored by the Illinois Theater Fest. It's at Illinois State University. It's not till January, but it's a kind of a first come, first served basis that students put in and schools put in for their attendees to apply. We also have kids that will not only, we have Savannah performing, but we also will have some of our students, junior students auditioning in front of college drama teachers, and so this is an important experience for them. And so we shared the protocol. It's part of the protocol that the sponsor has put in her overnight request. And so I did not receive any questions on this. I did have one change, and we updated the form. That's the note the board got this morning. We just updated it to align to the procedures we shared with the board on the 28th. So I would ask that if the board's comfortable, that we maybe consider approving this tonight so that they can get in their paperwork to the Theater Fest.
Yeah, I had this experience sophomore year, and it was really great, and it's really unique. It's unlike anything ever before because there's so many like-minded people all together through like an IHSA-like sponsored thing. And my junior year, I auditioned to be part of the all-state production, but that didn't work just because of COVID. So it's great that they're able to do that again. And I know for seniors auditioning and everything, it's so convenient to have all that in the same place. So it's, I think it's a really important step that we do take to approve that so kids can plan as soon as they need to prepare audition materials, know who's going to be there, and know what they need to do.
I don't have a question. I have a comment that I know students and other staff from Oak Park that have been to it, and I've only heard the same thing when you get students with the capability of meeting up with people who have the same interests. And so I appreciate the comments from the public, from Ms. Craig and Ms. Wozniak to support that, because I think this is great. I'm hoping that all things stay generally the same and everyone has mindset that getting together is a great thing. So hopefully this goes off without a hitch with all the things put in place. So my encouragement is fully behind this.
The change was the change we talked about last week with parents knowing that if a student
The
is-
change was when Dr. Freitas and myself originally met with the sponsors and before the September 28th meeting. In some of their paperwork, they had the notice going out to parents still had some of the old requirements, and we updated it to align a little more with the CDC. So it was just having a portion of an old document in the permission slip, and now that's been corrected, and so There's plenty of notice that you need to give a negative test before you go, and a negative test when you return, 3 to 5 days, and what our expectations are, all that's in there.
Which conveniently happens here.
Correct.
Which is nice, and
Okay, so I'll finish my sentence. The very specific thing I asked about last week was if a student did start to feel sick and was going to need to take the extra room, the requirement was that a parent would have to come and pick them up.
It's in the permission slip.
it's in there.
Right, and so I wanted to make sure
It's in
that
it.
we had parents sign off on that, and that was going to be a change.
Yeah, it's
It's
one of the
in
laws.
bold
Okay.
on the
Yes.
permission slip.
Yes.
So this will be our first group under this new policy. We don't have any
Well, I
sports
think
teams
we're
that
gonna have,
have
I think
used
we're
it.
gonna have, well, we're gonna have some sports teams here real soon. I think cross-country's got a good chance, and we had a girls golfer go this past weekend, but she stayed in the room with her parents, so.
Okay.
But I think we're gonna have more before this. This isn't until January, but the urgency is just to get the application,
Yeah.
so we can send students.
Okay. Any more comments from here? Lorena?
I
Mona?
think it's a great program. My grant sends students every year. They come back motivated, the amount of scholarship money that they're able to receive, the fact that, as you mentioned, it's like-minded individuals. It's an incredible experience. The chaperones always come back reporting out all of the good things that happen, and I'm just really glad that we're getting back to some sense. I'm very comfortable with the protocols that are in place. I like the revisions that were made to the permission slip. Information is very clear on it, so thank
Okay.
you.
Well, then I think without further ado, we should go
I'm
to
good,
the,
and thanks to the team
yes.
for all their hard work, Mr. Mannon and the trip sponsors for making sure all the Ts are crossed and the Is are dotted. That's awesome. Okay, overnight trip Theater Fest. The Board of Education Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois approves the overnight trip request for Theater Fest at Illinois State University on January 7th and 8th, 2022, as presented in the October 12th, 2021 Board Agenda Packet.
Second.
Second by Ms. Gasko.
any additional comments from anyone? I think everyone had some very positive feelings on this, so I would just mirror what everyone said here. Can we get a roll call, please?
Mr. Van Horst,
Yes.
Mr. Durkin,
Yes.
Ms. Gasko,
Yes.
Ms. Ruska,
Yes.
Ms. Towner,
Yes.
Ms. Salas.
Yes. Any additional visitor statements? No? Okay. There's smiles from the audience. We can document that.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Snaps. We had no additional discussion items. Any consideration of items for future meetings? There was nothing brought up previously, but I'll put it out there if anyone has something. And we can move forward to matters for closed session: personnel, student discipline, purchase, sale, lease of property, probable imminent or pending litigation, collective negotiations, and school safety.
Okay, the Board of Education, Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, enters closed session for the purpose of considering appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body, student discipline, purchase, sale, or lease of real property, probable imminent or pending litigation, collective negotiations, and school safety.
May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gasko.
Mr. Durkin,
Mr. Durkin?
We're going into closed. Say yes, Bill.
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Gasko,
Yes.
Ms. Ruska,
Yes.
Ms. Towner,
Yes.
Mr. Van Horst,
Yes.
and Ms. Salas.
Yes.
Okay.